we are continuing with our next info session, which is dedicated to Natural Sciences second part. And today there are going to be represented 3 programs, which are Bioengineering, Material Science and Technology, and Geoinformatics for Urbanized Society. And today with me, I have Ilona Faustova, who is going to talk about Bioengineering Master's Program. I have Hele Simon, who is going to introduce Material Science and Technology. And then I have Madli Johanna Maidla, who is going to talk about Geoinformatics for Urbanized Society. I would like to remind you that we have an excellent chance to, you have an excellent chance to leave your questions, and we are going to answer them during the Q&A sessions when all of the presentations are done. So the schedule will be the same as previous webinars. At first, we are going to introduce 3 programs, and then we will open Q&A questions. But anyways, you can leave your questions at any point of the webinar using the workshop link, where you can find next to this info session the bottom Q&A, where you can write your questions or rate the questions if the same questions were already asked. Okay, I guess that would be it from my side, and I will give a word to our first speaker, Ilona Faustova, who is going to introduce our master's program in bioengineering.
Thank you, Hanna, and hello to everybody. I will talk a bit about bioengineering program, and but I will start with talking about Tartu University and Tartu in general. So Tartu is a student's town. It's situated 200 kilometers from our capital, from Tallinn. And as we name Tartu, Tartu is city of good thoughts. It's a youth city, and each 5th person living in Tartu is a student or somehow connected to the university, working on studying in university. In total, in Tartu is around 100,000 citizens, and as I already mentioned, every 5th is connected to university. And Tartu University is pretty important for our country and for Baltic states, and we are really proud that it belongs to top 1.2% of the world's best universities. So it's really a good university with a quality education, and if you are getting high education or master's degree in Tartu University, it qualifies all over the world, and you can continue your studies, for example, on PhD or in any country, because this certificate you will get, it qualifies all over the world. And here is some other rankings we are also proud of, and not only our education is high in Tartu, but also science. And if we are talking about the structure of universities, here there is 4 faculties. It's arts and humanities, social sciences, science and technology, and medicine. So we are representative of science and technology faculty here. And as I told, the science is also on pretty high level in Tartu University, and we have also very high articles or scientific research is going on in university, and you can also see that we are top 1%, for example, of the most cited scientists in the world. So you don't have to have doubts that here you will get the possibility also to do a science on the high level. So if you want to know more about our town, you can also go to our website and do a virtual tour to see how buildings are situated. And from this map, you already see that buildings of universities all over the town, and town is dealing a lot with the university and education and science. So now we will talk more about program, but first we will show you a little video about bioengineering master's program.
What if I tell you that it's possible to redesign your gut bacteria to treat an ongoing condition? What if I tell you that we can cut down our dependency on fossil fuels by creating biofuels from genetically engineered microorganisms? What if I tell you that you can design life? Bioengineering Master's Program at the University of Tartu gives you a broad understanding and practical skills in the innovative world of biotechnology. Our students gain the knowledge in the applied biotechnology, synthetic biology, engineering, and IT. They're trained to do research, to invent, and to operate in the labs with cutting-edge equipment. Bioengineering Master's Program is very flexible as it allows students to design their own study plans to meet their individual goals. Our students have the numerous internship possibilities in the best companies in Estonia. They can also join the most innovative research groups to contribute to the biosustainability of our planet. Treating serious diseases, creating cell factories, synthesizing chemicals, or producing biofuels. These are just some of everyday applications of bioengineering. So don't wait too much. Design your future today and apply now. We're waiting for you.
So it's a little bit about the program in whole, but let's see in details what is the program about. So the bioengineering program is also 2 years, like the majority of master's degree programs, and you are studying the first year mostly courses as well, not doing only master thesis, but the curriculum is designed in such a way that you have the possibility to pass all the courses during the first year, and on the second year already focus only on your master thesis. And graduates will have an understanding and practical experience covering the main industrial bioprocesses, fermentation, design of biological systems, industrial biotechnology, and biomedical technologies. So, but you have pretty much freedom to choose what exactly you want to study and want you to do, and what is your master's thesis about. So the program consists of different models. You can see at the moment the main model has only 4 compulsory courses. You will see you see these courses on the screen at the moment. So it's synthetic biology, industrial cell factories, it's metabolic engineering and genome design, it's molecular cell and tissue engineering and omics. So these are the only obligatory courses for everyone in the program. And next you have also to pass specialty model courses, and from here you already have a freedom to choose courses you need more for your specialization, for your master's thesis, for example. You don't need to pass all the courses. Here is for example, courses for 36 credits, and you have to find the most interesting for you for 24 credits. So there is some kind of flexibility already inside this model, but we also say that if you will find a course which is connected to your specialty, to your master thesis, what you are doing, and want to also include the specialty model, so it's also possible. And besides specialty model, you have also to pass a professional practice model. It consists mostly of the practices or practical courses. Here you can see 2 courses which are scheduled and will be given during your studies. Courses not connected to master's thesis, but the rest is a lot connected to the master thesis. For example, the practical training in bioengineering, which provides 9 credits. It's a practical part of your master thesis, what you're doing in research lab, and the seminars in bioengineering, which is 6 credits. It's also your master's thesis. You are doing some practical stuff in the labs, and on seminars you are giving overview, and then you can get the practical training in bioengineering and seminars in bioengineering points. And also from this module you have to gain 24 credits, so it also gives you freedom and possibility to take courses or not to take. And also there is a possibility of internship in bioenterprise or research lab, semester abroad, if you have something in your mind. So you can, for example, do the mobility, go for semester abroad and substitute the elective model, for example. If you are not going abroad, then you have to do also elective courses, and it's 12 credits for elective course. And for sure, 6 credits of optional courses. It can be any courses of the university. So, and at the end, you are doing defense of your master thesis. There is no exam at the end, but master thesis defense. So, as I told you, that there is a lot of actually the international exchange possibilities, also Erasmus program or Dora Plus program, and also studying on bioengineering program. You can use these opportunities and go and study abroad. And some important information about how to apply to the program. So if you are interested in bioengineering, you have to apply before March 15th. So it's pretty soon already. And when you are entering our program, our requirements that you have a bachelor level in some science or technology field or field of medicine, and also we need motivation letter. To apply to our program, you have to have proof that you have the B2 level of English. And how we count our points, entering points, it's 50% gives you a GPA of the previous education and 50% is motivation letter. When you're writing motivation letter, definitely check the questions, what we need to answer writing the motivation letter, and add any of your ideas or advantages as a candidate for specifically bioengineering program. So for the program, there is also scholarships. There is tuition waiver scholarships for the best candidates. You don't need to apply separately. There is some scholarship for EU students, but also some scholarships for non-EU students. But the amount is limited, and you don't need to apply for this separately. While applying to the program, the best candidates will be chosen to get the tuition waiver scholarships and both. So, and also there is a Dora scholarship what you can apply, and Ministry of Foreign Affairs scholarships. So the important dates for you is 15th of March. So you have to do the application before 15th of March. The later applications unfortunately will be not taken into account. And just a bit about living in Estonia, that the accommodation in Estonia is possible in dormitories, for example, and the rent is around 150 euro per month. I am not sure if it's just now went a little bit higher, but in average I think it's still 150 euro per month. And the costs of living, it depends on the people, on how much everyone needs a different amount of money to live in Estonia, but in average it's around 450 euros per month. But you always can also contact our ambassadors and our marketing specialists if you have some additional questions about living in Estonia or how to apply to program or any questions what you have. And like that, you can see it's one of the dormitories where the majority of our program students lives. So it's pretty good conditions for living actually there. And just a little bit about life in Tartu as well. We have not only studies, we are not only studying, but we have different entertainments. And for example, we have the students' days while you can see different competitions going on, different interesting events. Also, we have different clubs, different units of students. So it will be not definitely boring here, and you will not only study, but you will have also the social part of life. So it's just some of the pictures. So if you liked the program and if you have the interest towards the bioengineering program, you can, but you still have questions even after our webinar will be over, you can ask questions today during the webinar, but also you can write straight to me or to our ambassadors, and we will wait for you in Estonia.
Thank you very much, Ilona, for your presentation and also for providing the overview not only about your program and curriculum, but also about the University of Tartu and life in Estonia in general. I would also remind you that after this session, we will also have a student discussion session where we also will have representatives from all of the programs, basically students who are currently enrolled to these programs, and they're also going to discuss their experience from their perspective. And also, if you would like to see, for example, how the dormitory looks inside, or how the Institute of Science looks inside of, or any other of scientific buildings, then we are welcoming you to join us on Wednesday when we are going to have our online tours. And now I'm going to encourage you as well to leave your questions. So please leave your questions, write them down to Workshop, and then during the Q&A session, we are going to answer them. And I will give a floor to Helle Simon, who is going to talk about the material science and technology. Helle, please, the floor is yours.
Thank you. This will be the introduction to material science and technology master's program. This program is for preparing specialists for manufacturing enterprises and research institutions, specialists who understand relations between material science and technologies, and on the other hand, the businesses and economy. Our graduates are able to continue at doctoral level, and the degree which is awarded after graduation and defending your master's thesis, it is Master of Science in Material Science and Technology. Our program is concentrated on science, on material science, the properties of materials and technologies of materials, and the aim is to develop the materials. And people who apply the scientific knowledge of material science, they must know relations between the science and businesses and economy, and therefore basics of entrepreneurship is also included in our program. As Ilona already told, there are 4 faculties in the University of Tartu, and all our programs in this webinar, they are from the Faculty of Science and Technology. In our faculty, there are 9 institutes. These are research institutes, and students who study material science and technology and also research in material science. It's done mainly in 3 institutes. These are Institute of Physics, Institute of Chemistry, and Institute of Technology. On the picture, there is a first day of a study in front of Physicum, the main building of the Institute of Physics. We hope very much that corona restrictions are over, and next autumn the students can gather in front of the building and get together again. These institutes are all research institutes, and our students are involved into research work, not only in their studies. In our program, every student joins one research lab of some institute already during the first semester when he has come here to study. Here are some examples of research topics where material science students have been involved. First, energetics, materials for energetics, which are studied in the Institute of Chemistry and Institute of Technology mainly. These are supercapacitors, hydrogen storage, and so on. Nanomaterials. Nanomaterials seem to be a part of science in very many science areas nowadays. Then biocompatible materials and biomaterials at all. For example, dental implants, coatings for dental implants. It was a topic of several material science students in their master's thesis. Then optical materials for luminophores, sensors. It's studied mainly in the Institute of Physics. Teaching of material science at the University of Tartu. Material science has been taught here in Estonian for a long time, but in English, the master's program is not very old. Our first graduates defended their master's thesis a year ago, less than a year ago, last spring. So the curriculum consists of 6 modules. There are 2 compulsory modules, material science module and entrepreneurship module. Then there are elective courses and optional courses and practice and master thesis. The first obligatory module is material science module, where there are main principles and terms of material science, which are included in the 9 points course, theoretical principle of material science. Then students study testing and investigation methods of materials. Development of materials courses, there are 2 courses. First one is on the first semester and the second part is on the last semester of the studies. And master seminar is also in this material science module. The second obligatory module is entrepreneurship module, where basics of entrepreneurship are included in a 6-point lecture course, and there are also seminars which take place in 3 different semesters. Elective courses are for students to study courses about material science or entrepreneurship. And foreign students can learn Estonian language in the amount of 6 points, also as elective course. Optional courses, as for all the curricula in Tartu, optional courses may be chosen from any courses, from any faculties of the university. Practice, it's internship. 3rd semester, that means the autumn semester of the 2nd year, is intended for the internship. Really, students may do the internship in summer if they want to, and if they find a company way to do it. And the internship is finished and completed with a seminar and a report. An option for the 3rd semester is going to some foreign university as an exchange student. So the last part of the curriculum is master thesis. Students are allowed to defend their master's thesis if they are completed all the other courses and modules. However, they begin the work of the master thesis already on the 1st semester when they search the lab, where to do it, where to do the experimental part of the thesis, and to find the supervisor. Why to study material science? Development of products includes development of materials and advancement of materials, new and better materials. And really, advancements in material science are the basis for the advancements in all the society as well. So why to study in Tartu? I think our students it's a good company. And also my colleagues, that's also a good company. There are many events arranged for students in Tartu, and material science students can take part of all of them. And there are several student organizations, and there material science students also can join the student organizations. So you are welcome.
Thank you very much, Hella, for your presentation and for introducing this wonderful program, Material Science and Technology. I thank you for providing also information about the organizations and also about the curriculum. So I would remind to our participants to leave your questions. So if you're interested to apply to material science and technology, this is the time to ask your questions right now from the program manager. And now we're going to move to another presentation, which is going to be dedicated to Geoinformatics for Urbanized Society. And I'm going to give a floor to Madli Johanna Maidla.
Thank you. Hello to everyone. I'm very happy to be here and to introduce this program, Geoinformatics for Urban Society, to you today. So I'm the program director of this program and all the other programs in our Department of Geography. So to give a little bit background, we all know that we are living in a quite fast-changing and difficult world right now. The health crisis have been here for the last 2 years. The climate change is slow but ongoing process. And we also have the different other global challenges like urban poverty or segregation, and also the land use change that affects migration and all different kind of topics. And our program, the Geoinformatics for Urban Society, is developed keeping in mind those challenges. And our aim is to educate people, give them the knowledge about the problems, and give the tools how to take the data and give some solutions for this kind of problems, and also how these solutions will find their way to the policy and planners. So our program basically has 2 pillars. First, as mentioned, we give the knowledge of spatial processes, both societal and environmental processes that are going on, for example, segregation or climate crisis. And on the other hand, we teach you the skills of data processing, both geographic information systems and other methods and programming languages from IT, so you can implement them on the previously gained knowledge of different spatial problems. As already mentioned before by the other speakers, we also have research-based studies. So we have different labs and research teams in our department that have developed those courses that you are going to be studying. For example, the mobility lab focuses on mobility studies. The Center for Migration and Urban Studies researches urban change, migration, segregation, gentrification. And then we also have the environmental labs from landscape ecology and environmental technology. And all those labs are using geoinformatical systems to do their research. And we also have a geoinformatics research team who will also teach you the different methods and the skills how to combine all those different knowledge from the societal and environmental part together. As I said before, we focus very much on data, how to collect data and how to analyze and make decisions based on the data. As right now we have this quite this kind of world that we produce very much data and we collect very much data, the big data. So it's very useful to know how to process it and how to gain the best of it, the most of it, and also how to process, analyze, and also visualize the data, because if the scientists get the raw data, it's not useful for the decision makers. But when we analyze it and when we make it visual, as geographers use a lot of maps, for example, and the graphs, then it's also useful for the decision makers, and it really has an emphasis on their real life. So the teaching and learning is lab-based, and we have a lot of courses where you will have hands-on learning. So you have real problems to solve and real data to do it. We also have different courses where we teach different geoinformatics systems and different databases, different programming languages. Our curriculum structure is quite similar to previous ones. We have the mandatory courses and elective and optional courses. The first module is consisted of two big courses, the Spatial Data Studio and Planning Project, that are the core subjects. And where you get the basic knowledges. And then we have the geography mandatory module, where you can get the knowledge of different processes I mentioned before, and also the skills to use different spatial analysis tools. And the first and the second semester, so the first year of your studies, is mainly about mandatory courses, but then the second year is more up to you. The third semester is the mobility window, where you can go to study abroad, or also if you want to study in Tartu, we have different courses in here. And the fourth semester is mainly for the master thesis. During the summer, you will have the compulsory internship. And then there are the optional courses you can choose freely from all over the university. Some examples from the courses. The Spatial Data Studio is basically the first course when you are coming here. In the first, there are some leveling exercises, but then it has or it teaches you the whole process of the data. So from the collecting the data, cleaning the data, analyzing, processing, and visualizing the data. And on the second semester, after you have gained all this visualization and analysis skills, you will have a real planning project. For example, a couple of years ago, the students analyzed where to put the new bike sharing stations for the Tartu bike share we have in here. And also some visualization exercises the students have done with Python and R, for example. There are a lot of professors and top-level lecturers you will meet during the studies. All our professors of our department is going to teach you. We also have quite a lot of visiting professors from, for example, Belgium, Germany, or USA that give some elective courses in our program. A little bit more about the academic mobility and the semester abroad. So it takes place usually during the third semester. Most of the students so far have used the Erasmus Plus partnership This is the list of the universities our students have gone to study, but we also have approximately 30 different universities that we have agreements with. So the option is quite big, and we really encourage students to do it. And also, this Corona crisis and traveling restrictions haven't affected the students that much. We still have students who go to abroad, and they really enjoy it. The internship is the compulsory part of the program. It takes place during the summer, between the first and second study year. There is also opportunity to use the Erasmus Plus traineeship program to do the internship in other European countries. So if you are, for example, from Europe, you can do it in your home country. But we also have quite many organizations in Estonia that we have good relations with, and some of them are located here in Tartu, some of them in the capital of Tallinn. So there's big variety and selection. Just some examples of the master thesis that our students have written. The fact that you are going to be studying in Estonia doesn't matter that you have to do your master thesis about Estonia or Tartu. We have had the master thesis about Ghana, Italy, Malaysia, and basically sky is the limit. If you have the data and it's the spatial problem that you want to solve, this probably is geography. But mainly in this yellow box, there are the main themes or topics that we are researching in our department, and most of the master theses are done on those topics. A little bit our alumni and what is waiting for you after you graduate. The last graduates on this top row, Ivan and Olga, just graduated a year ago. And they both are now working in Estonia. Ivan is working in Positium, where he actually also did his internship. And Olga is in Capaceta, that is a remote sensing company. And we also have some students who have doing their PhD, some in our university, in our department, but some also in other European universities. And just a little bit more about community and student life. This is on the picture is our main building. It's in city center, in a historical building, and it's I would say it's really good place because Tartu is quite small and you can walk to everywhere. I think the main dormitories are 20 minutes walk from our building, and the city center is like 10-15 minutes. We also have different events and activities for the students and for the whole department. As the program is quite young, 5 years, we don't have really much traditional activities, but every year we start with the academic year kickoff. And also this year we had the chance to meet in snowy Estonia for the ski seminar. And also some of our students got their first experience, for example, with cross-country skiing. And the studies are done both in indoor labs and outdoor labs. So we have a lot of computer labs in our computer class, but there are also some excursions in cities and in the field. Also, as mentioned already before, but there are different opportunities what to do except for studies. There are many organizations you can be part of. And yeah, I would also say that Tartu is the cozy student town, and it's really nice to be a student in this city. And if you want more information, just visit our website. There is a lot of more information, and also our Facebook page. And you can also write to us there the messages, and we will answer them. So I hope you all got the information and are applying to our university.
Thank you very much, Madle Johanna, for your presentation and for introducing not only the program, but also internships, career opportunities, and also the social scene of Tartu itself. Thank you very much for it. And right now, I think we will going to continue with our Q&A session. We have received quite some questions. So let's start with the first one. It is addressed to the to bioengineering program. Any graduate student from medicine requires some extra knowledge regarding engineering to apply to this master program.
No, you don't need some engineering studies if you have medicine education, but we always mention that as a lot of students come in like with very broad backgrounds, so everyone has a possibility when they arrive already to our program, to Tartu, to take elective courses which will help to fill the gaps you are having in one or other discipline. So, for example, we need the knowledge of biology definitely, but if you have not had enough, then you have the possibility to take biology, and you have to take and to study the biology as well. The same with programming or engineering stuff. So. But you can apply with medical education, medical degree.
Much. Thank you very much. The next question is going to be addressed to Helle. So this is about career opportunities after the graduation, material science and technology. So where can I work after graduation? And maybe you have some already alumni that are working somewhere, so you can also provide some examples.
Okay, it's decided that our graduates will work in some manufacturing companies which deal with materials, which produce materials, or in some laboratories which analyze some materials, or in the research institutes, or they continue their studies at master's level. About the graduates, examples of the companies from Estonia, there are not very much companies. However, for example, Estika Plaster is one of them. Then in Sillamäe, there is a company, there are several companies which produce metals, and our students have made their internship, for example, in Pärnu, or in Elva, where is an electronic company. However, many of our graduates now, we have 10 graduates today, because these were the first graduates at all from our program, and many of them are continuing on the doctoral level. At least 3 of them are in the University of Tartu. One is in doctoral studies in India. Okay.
Yeah, thank you for such a detailed information about your graduates. Thank you. The next question is going to be for Geoinformatics and Urbanised Society. So the question is more related to admission process. So are there any prerequisite courses in order to apply to the program?
There is you should have been studied in your previous level 30 credits worth of different courses that are connected to either geography or also programming, social sciences that are more like related to geography, because the geography also have quite big part of social sciences. So I would say, yeah. So there are. So you should have 30 credits of some courses that are connected to geography or programming, and it is possible if you to study in our program also if you don't have previous background in geography exactly, and you don't have what is QGIS or ArcGIS for example, because we have also the leveling courses in the first year, the first semester of the studies. But of course, it's easier if you already have some background there also.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you for your answer. We received quite many questions about scholarships. So such as, for example, how many students in the bioengineering program usually get monthly scholarship? Then we received how many tuition waivers do you have from non-European Union countries? So maybe we are going to just to make a round and answer questions about the scholarships, other tuition waivers at your programs, and any other opportunities for our applicants. Maybe, Ilona, let's start with you.
About tuition waiver, in our program we have around, it's not the exact number, but around 5 scholarship. And these are already together like non-European ones and European for EU ones. And the monthly stipend, which is probably DORA and MFS, so it depends on each year. It's usually 1-2 stipends, but the exact number will be announced a bit later.
Mm-hmm. Helen?
In material science and technology program, there are tuition waiver scholarships. There are 7 scholarships for European students and really 1 scholarship for non-European student. However, there is also a Foreign Affairs Ministry scholarship. And now this year it was decided in the Institute of Physics that 1 tuition waiver scholarship will be from the side of the Institute of Physics. Mm-hmm. What else to say? Most of our students have joined some research lab at the beginning of their studies, and almost all of them get some scholarships, which is organized by their supervisors from this research lab. Of course, they do research work there.
Mm-hmm. Thank you very much. Then let's continue with Johanna. How is about your program?
Yeah, in Geoinformatics for Urbanised Society, I would say it's quite the same as Ilona said about bioengineering. So for the next year, we have 4 tuition waivers for non-European countries and 1 for European countries. And also there is the chance for DORA and Ministry of Foreign Affairs.
Mm-hmm. Thank you very much. The next question is addressed to Ilona. Is it possible to get a job at the research institute for biotech company while studying bioengineering?
It is possible to get a job in some research lab, as already Helle also told that there are some research labs which hire and pay stipend to the student, and also there is a possibility to start working in bioenterprises, but I think in bioenterprises it's a bit more complicated as it will interrupt your studies, because you still, as bioengineering program is really a lot connected to practical experience, to practical studies, then we have a lot of courses, practical courses you have to visit. Attendance is mandatory, and you also have to deal with your master's thesis. So I think that it's easier if you find a job in research group where you are doing your master's thesis. So it will be, otherwise it will be too time consuming.
Thank you very much. Also, we received different questions about motivation letter, but I just combined it and asked you to tell maybe some tips how to write a good motivation letter for your programs and what is required or requested at your department. What are you looking at? Of course, we have the requirements on the website, but it's important also to point out some certain things. Maybe let's start with you, with Geoinformatics. Yeah.
Yeah, so of course the most detailed description what you should write is on the web page. I would say that in the motivation letter we want to see your motivation, like what is your real experience before. Like if you have studied geography or you have already the background of geoinformatics, it's good if we get to know that. And if you don't have, then what's your motivation to learn it? And if you come from another field, for example, social sciences or any other natural sciences, that what do you think, how you can combine your previous knowledge of this program and our geoinformatics that you will learn in here? And also, usually there's a question that what do you think, what can be your master thesis about? For us, it doesn't have to be exactly the master thesis you are going to write. And we don't check it afterwards that you are writing the same thing. But this already shows us how you think, in which field you want to go, and yeah, basically. Okay, now I run out of knowledge.
Thank you very much. Hella, what do you expect from potential applicants from their motivation letters?
Our expectations are almost the same. In your motivational letter, please write about yourself, your previous studies and your work experience and how it is connected with material science, and try to explain why and how your previous experience fits to material science, and how and why you need and want to study material science. But motivation letter is only one thing, only one part. When you apply, there is also the average grade of the bachelor studies and also an interview.
Oh. Thank you very much. Ilona, what about your program?
For our program, it's pretty much the same like for my colleagues' programs. We really want to see your motivation, why you chose our program, what background you have, and what are your plans for future. Have you thought through or not how you will apply a future degree in life, in science? What are your future plans as well? Because actually, when you are reading the motivation letter, you see if the person just applying for different programs, like in different institutes, and it's just on one of the programs he is applying or she is applying, or a person really motivated to study, in our case, bioengineering, thought through what or how he will need the bioengineering knowledge in future, or what he will do in his life in future. And we always appreciate if, for example, you are switching background. It was a bit similar what my colleagues were telling, that also to explain why you are switching the background or how you will apply the previous knowledge in our program, in your future program.
Thank you very much, Ilona. Also, Helle touched two topics that we have questions about. First of all, the GPA. So what is the average GPA should I have in order to apply? And the second one, is there an entrance interview? And if yes, then what kind of questions should I expect? So maybe, Helle, let's start with you because you have already mentioned about that, and then we can continue with other programs.
The GPI, I think it's 60% from the maximum grade, and I think it's similar for other programs also. And about the interview, it will. I shall send letters and invite to the and we shall invite to the interview the candidates, the best candidates by the motivation letters and the average grade, and speak about the interview. There is a commission who listens to you. The interview is arranged via internet. We have made it in Teams during the previous years, and the candidate it lasts 10 minutes only, and these 10 minutes the main speech is by the candidate who speaks about himself, and also the topics are similar or almost the same as in the motivation letter, and then some questions about material science or about mathematics are asked. So we expect that you know the topics and the materials you have studied before. If you have studied, for example, chemistry, then the question will be from chemistry. If you have studied maybe material science, then it's because our candidates are from different areas of science. They must have the degree, bachelor's degree or equivalent education from science and technology. And it's a very wide area.
Yeah. Thank you very much for so detailed answer. I will ask the same question from Madli Johanna. If you have an entrance interview to your program and if you have any requirements for the average grades of our applicants.
I think until now, I'm quite new program director, so I haven't made any interviews myself yet. And previously also we have, I think, made really few interviews, only with those people who we can't see exactly based on the motivation letter. We are not sure that if this person fits in our curriculum or not. So I think most of all, with most people, we don't make the interviews. And the average grade, I think it's the same standard for all programs.
Thank you very much. Ilona, what about you?
Very similar about GPA. It's over 50%, but in our program, together with motivation letter, you have to get at least 66%. But it's the overall regulation for all programs. And about interviews, we are doing sometimes interviews. Interview is not compulsory, but you can get the invitation for interview if you don't mind, and then it's very similar for with motivation letter. Then we are asking your motivation about your motivation to come here, about your background, maybe more in details, and if we have some questions about knowledge in some specific courses, do you have it or not? So, but it's mostly for understanding is the motivation to come to our program right, and if we suit to you so that you will get the required knowledge from our program. But it's not compulsory one.
Okay, thank you. The next question is also addressed to Ilona. So what are the examples of master theses at the bioengineering program? Maybe if you have something in mind, or maybe you can direct people where they can find the list of the master's programs on the website.
Actually, yes, I can forward later a link where you can find different master's theses, because yes, I have some in mind, but it's so broad area. You can write studying in bioengineering curriculum. It's bioengineering is so broad. You can specialize or write the master's thesis even in Institute of Chemistry or Institute of Technology or Institute of Physics. So it's pretty broad, and you can do a lot of different scientific projects in it.
Yes. So our next question is about the language requirements, so English language requirements, and they're required to all of the programs that we have on the stage, and I guess the requirement is the same. So basically, what kind of level of IELTS do you require? If maybe... if someone knows, you can just...
The question was about IELTS?
IELTS.
IELTS. So it's 6.0. And no one part can be less than 5.5. So it's important because sometimes you have the overall score 6.0, but if some part will be less than 5.5, then unfortunately you cannot apply to our programs. And the regulation is the same for all programs.
Mm-hmm. Thank you very much. And you can also visit our website, and we have our English requirements on the website. So we accept many tests. We accept also Cambridge test and TOEFL test. So you can check out which test you would prefer to take as well, and the requirement from our side. So the next question is to Geoinformatics and Urbanised Society. What is the admission criteria for the program?
So as it already has been here in this topic, it's also the 50% of the is the GPA, and 50% is the motivation letter. And also, if you get, we create them, the motivation letters, and the total score, or like the minimum score, is 66 points, and the top level is 100 points.
Thank you very much. The next questions that we have about internships, because all the programs require internships according to the presentations that we have just seen. And the question is, how can I choose my internship, and if the university is helping somehow with internship? Maybe, Ilona, you can start.
In our program we have this mobility, and you can do internships, and it's not compulsory in our program, but it's the way you can substitute, for example, elective model. And usually our students find the internship by themselves with the help maybe with of a research group where they are doing the master's thesis, because it's good if you are going to do something connected to your thesis. But if you wish, you can find completely separate project and separate topic for your internship, and also you can go then to the internship abroad for the semester. But usually we are advising to connect it with your master thesis, not just to lose time and graduate in 2 years. And also in this case, your research lab can be helpful with finding the internship.
Thank you very much. Helle, would you like to continue?
In the material science, the students also must find their internship place themselves, and usually they do it. And the places have been in Estonia, but I know one student who has been in Korea. Also, there were relations between the lab where the student worked during the studies, and the lab where she worked recommended her there to do her internship there. However, many of our students have made their internship in the research labs in the University of Tartu. It was one reason of it have been the corona. Because of restrictions, it has been hard to find a place in a company.
Yeah, that's understandable. Thank you.
So you may find your internship place also in the university research lab.
Thank you. Madli Johanna?
And as I a little bit already explained it in my presentation, but we have a quite good cooperation with different companies in Estonia. I would say at least 15 companies, mainly from the Geoinformatics or the IT field, but also some other like social sciences or natural sciences fields, and it's also the same that the student actually has to apply there and get the space themselves. Like we don't say student that you have to go there or there, but you can freely choose. You can also choose yourself other companies that we don't have some relations. And also there's the opportunity to go abroad. I know at least I think 5 students until now have gone to Latvia, Czech Republic, to Spain to do their internship there.
Thank you very much. We have another question. The applicant is asking if it's possible to work and study at the same time. Would you recommend that or not? Maybe Ilona, you can start.
It depends on your work. So it's not prohibited to work during your studies, but again, it's really nice if your work is connected to your master thesis and to your research. On master studies, you don't have as much courses, compulsory courses, as during bachelor studies, and you have more freedom to in time that you can even work in some other companies, not in university. But I think it's still then complicated to focus on your thesis as well when you are working in companies.
Thank you. Hella, do you want to comment as well?
There are material science students who have worked in restaurants or in teaching of dancing. However, I do not recommend such working, but joining a research lab and their research work, that's what I recommend.
Thank you very much. And then we can continue, Madli Johanna.
Yeah, I would say the same. Of course, it also depends on the workload. If you're working part-time or full-time job. Of course, full-time job and full-time studying, it's really difficult and really hard. And only the best of the students can actually do it. As the others said, that it's possible to have some part-time job maybe in the institute. In our geography department, it's we don't have many of this kind of jobs, but we have some students who have if you do the internship in the first summer, after the first study year, they have had a chance to do the part-time job in the same company. So it's also again the same. It's the program related, the geography related job that I would say it's a good opportunity to use.
Thank you very much. We have 2 questions to bioengineering program. First of all, is it common for bioengineering student to transition to PhD, or are they mostly into building a career in the industry?
Actually, We have both graduates studying in PhD studies and also working in bioenterprises nowadays after graduating from bioengineering. It's probably a bit more about still science, but it's not compulsory. But yeah, as a part of students are going to bioenterprises after getting master's thesis or master's degree, and a part continues in PhD studies. So,
Thank you very much. We have the follow-up question from the same student in medicine. Does work and experience in medicine count towards the application criteria for bioengineering?
It doesn't count, unfortunately, but you still can mention it in motivation letters, so it will give us a better overview about your skills, about your background, and maybe in motivation letter, depending on your experience, working experience, maybe it will give additional points to motivation letter.
Thank you very much. We have another question about the courses. So how do courses look like? Are your classes lecture-based or discussion-based? How much theoretical and practical practice we will gain? Maybe let's also answer from the perspective of each program. So maybe Madli, Johanna, you can start.
I would say there's everything, or like all the aspects you mentioned. I think all the courses have some proportion of lectures, but if I think really quickly, I think we don't have any courses that are only lecture-based. So there definitely are some seminars, some practicums, as we have a lot of this programming and GIS courses, like those are very practical. You really have to try those analyses yourself. You will have the data, either our lecturers will give the data to you, or you will have to search the data for yourself. So I would say it's really practical. Of course, there are some theoretical lectures, but most of all, it's practical.
Thank you very much. Helle, how is it with your program?
In the program of material science and technology, among the compulsory courses, there are courses of lectures and seminars, as it is the theoretical principles of material science. Then development of materials course, it's 12 points. It includes lectures, but more seminars and some practical training also. And then there is master seminars where all students make their presentations. And then the testing and investigation methods of materials are included there. And this is totally experimental course. And students first study the principles of the investigation method and then work in the laboratory. And in case of entrepreneurship courses, there is one lecture course, 6-point lecture course of the basics, and then seminars, mostly seminars.
Thank you very much, Helle. Ilona?
Bioengineering emphasizes practical teaching, practical studies, but we also have everything. We have lectures, we have seminars, journal clubs, presentations, and practical courses in the labs. So everything.
Thank you very much. So I would like also to tell to our applicants who is asking questions about visa-related questions, for example, that we have a visa support team at our university. So if you have any questions regarding organizing your documents once you're admitted, you can contact our department, which is Study Abroad Center, visa support at ut.e, or if you have any very specific admission-related questions regarding your documents, then it would be better also to contact admission office, and you can just write to admissions at And of course, you can find all of these contacts on our website, and you can easily contact all of the departments that are responsible for the certain questions. So I think we don't have any questions anymore. So on this note, I want to thank you for participating in our info session dedicated to natural sciences second part. And I would like to ask you to stay with us because we are going to continue with our students who are from these programs that were today represented from Geoinformatics and Urbanised Society, Material Science and Technology, and Bioengineering. So they are going to provide also their perspective. How is it to study this program and how is it to live in Estonia? So I highly encourage you to join the next session, and thank you very much for being with us. Keep in mind the admission deadline, which is March 15, which is quite soon. Submit your documents in time. Don't be late if you would like to join us next academic year. And if you have any questions to our dear program managers, that you're welcome to contact them afterwards. We will also send you the presentation as a follow-up email, so you will get the contacts as well and the slides as well. Thank you very much for being with us, and see you very soon.